do with military. More than 90% of everything that Russians hit in Ukraine is civil infrastructure. It's not even power stations and sources of power like the Novokakhovka Dam. I'm talking about housing, I'm talking about schools, I'm talking about hospitals, and some of the despicable war crimes that they do it so repetitively that we are getting used to, Ukraine is getting used to, the children is getting used to. We want Ukrainians to forget where the bomb shelter is, to forget what is the sound of the air raid sound that the children hear daily in Ukraine for 725 days. I ask any of you who is passing by, do you know where your closest bomb shelter is, where you live? You don't, because you do not have that necessity. We have that necessity. We have children who will grow up with PTSDs that only are found in war veterans. We have children who will be scarred by this war for the rest of their life. There was a child in Poland, he heard the ambulance, and because he couldn't understand the difference between the air siren and the ambulance, because where they were, the sound of the ambulance was different from Ukrainian one. He started to hide the food under his bed, because when they were in occupied region without the food for a few weeks, he remembers that when he hears that sound, that associates with hunger and with being frightened for his life. This is a reality for all the children who are in Ukraine. This is a reality for them, that can any day their father can be called to defend Ukraine from enemy that attacks different nations. Today is Ukraine. Tomorrow it can be, definitely, most probably it will be Moldova, because they have unfinished business there, like they had unfinished business when Putin had published his essay about the unity between Ukrainian and Russian people. There is no unity between peaceful nation of Ukraine, the people, the Europe nicknamed as the breadbasket of Europe, and terrorists that Russians are, generational, chronicle terrorists. Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is the terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is the terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is the terrorist state.
Tribunal for Russian war criminals.
Tribunal for Russia war criminals.
Tribunal for Russian war criminals.
Tribunal for Russia war criminals.
No trade with Russia.
No trade with Russia.
No trade with Russia.
No trade with Russia.
And most of normal, adequate, rational brands have left Russia, and China pick up the business.